Hello, everyone. My name is Elizabeth Manns, and I'd like to welcome you to the April 4th Coalition Show. This is the July 14th, 2025 edition of the show, and our mission statement is we are for workers' rights and collective bargaining rights and are against tax breaks for the rich and corporations who ship our jobs overseas. We support all the articles of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, but as is our custom, we put the emphasis on Article 23 at the start of the show. And Dick, you have 1 and 2.
Yes. Number 1, everyone has the right to work, to free choice of employment, to just and favorable conditions of work, and protection against unemployment. Number 2, everyone, without any discrimination, has the right to equal pay for equal work.
Number 4, everyone who works.
Number 3.
3, thank you. I'm so worried about over here, I forgot about me. Number 3, everyone who works has the right to just and favorable remuneration, which is any form of compensation, ensuring for himself or herself and his or her family an existence worthy of human dignity and supplemented, if necessary, by other means of social protection. And Michael, number 4.
Number 4, everyone has the right to form and join trade unions for the protection of his or her interests.
Thank you, Michael. And as is our custom, we would like to thank the program director of WMNB for airing the audio portions of our show on Fridays at 6 p.m. and whenever else they can fit it into the schedule, and to the staff here at the NBCTC, because brain is not working today, for their invaluable assistance in helping us produce the show. So thank you, Matthew Tucker, Nicole A. Brown, and Joanne Hurlberg. And Dick, our community suffered a loss.
Yes, on June 30th of this year, we lost a true friend to the April 4th Coalition, personally a friend into a community television. You know, Bob Davis, he was vice president of Northern Berkshire Community Television. You know, he was a union member when he was at GE, and then he was the head of the union when he was at McCants Teachers Association. He was a family man. He was like the head of the Lebanese Society. He was a Lebanese musician, world known. World-renowned musician in Lebanese circles. And he was the head of the Lebanese Society and also the head of the Eagles. I remember Bob from our teenage years when I was in high school. We used to go to the State Board of Education as representatives. I of jury and him as of McCann's. I was a sophomore and he was a junior in high school and on into senior and junior years. We'd go down to Pittsfield for the State Board of Education. That's how I first met Bob. I did go to school with his younger brother Jim, and we all knew Shirley from the community organization.
For the creations.
But Bob, you know, he was a big man, but he needed that body because his heart was so big.
Yes.
He had a way of making you feel so important and just look at you and try to lift you up. And he was just, I just can't say enough nice things about him. And he's going to be sorely missed by our community.
Yes, he is, because I know Pauline Davis, so I also knew Bob very well. And what always struck me was his energy. For a man so big, he had so much energy and passion for life. He wanted everybody to enjoy life around him. Stuff.
Our April 4th Coalition, our first demonstration that we set up as an April 4th Coalition, you know, we were saying, how are we going to get microphones? How are we going to get power a microphone? Bob said, never mind, I'll take care of it. He talked to the custodian at City Hall, put the extension cord right in there, plugged it right in, so we had our microphones. You know, he always stepped forward in helping, and I ask anybody that knew him, they'll say the same thing, that he gave so much of himself.
He did indeed.
So,
and now we're going to turn to another person who was larger than life.
Another person larger than life, John Lewis. We're coming on Thursday. It's the anniversary of his death, 1 year anniversary, and a big hole that was left
not only in Congress, but in just the civil rights movement for the world.
Well, in the local groups are all over Berkshire County are doing things to commemorate this on Thursday and Friday in Pittsfield and all over, and we'll talk about those first. But there was a documentary about him. We're going to play the trailer of that documentary. It's about Good Trouble.
My philosophy is very simple. When you see something that is not right, not fair, not just, say something, do something, get in trouble, good trouble, necessary trouble.
He was always different than every member of Congress. Everybody knew what he had done. He was John Lewis.
We're marching today to dramatize to the world that hundreds and thousands of Negro citizens denied the right to vote.
Congressman Lewis gave us the blueprint to organize and to legislate.
The reason why he's effective as a leader is because he's lived it.
We made a decision to march in an orderly, peaceful, nonviolent fashion from Selma to Montgomery.
You are ordered to disperse. This march will not continue.
I was hit in the head. My knees went from under me. I thought I was going to down the bridge.
If John Lewis, as a 19, 20-year-old, wasn't doing what he did, I would not be here.
We will march with the spirit of love and with the spirit of dignity that we have shown here today.
The whole time he was in the movement, it was frightening, knowing the danger, knowing what could happen.
You cannot replace a John Lewis.
He's the most courageous person I ever met.
Too many people struggled and died to make it possible for every American to exercise their right to vote.
He challenges the conscience of the Congress.
Bring common sense gun control legislation to the House floor.
40 years later, John Lewis continues to inspire us.
Are you with me? Let me hear you. 3 civil rights workers that were murdered for trying to help people get registered to vote are looking down on us.
This is a time for action. That's what I learned from John Lewis.
There are forces in America today want to take us back, but we're not going back. We're going forward.
Yes, I had the honor of meeting John Lewis when he came to MCLA to be the commencement speaker. He was the first commencement speaker that James Burge brought to the campus, and at that time I was the Union Store, and so we were all up on the platform together, and you got to spend time with him at breakfast and whatnot to meet him. And all the images you see of him as a firebrand, yes, he had that fire in him. You could always see it in his eyes, but he was always soft-spoken and gentle and polite with things. He did not, when we had to do the group picture, he was considerate enough to let me know he was going to put his hand around behind my back, which is unusual. Most people just go ahead and do it. So, and yes, good troubles is his famous word. He used that throughout the commencement, but it was probably, I have the photo of him with myself and Charlie, and at that time, Michael Birch was the faculty associate. I still have that photo framed and up in my wall.
Wow.
It's not going to come down.
You take a photograph of it and send it. We'll have to show it on one of our future shows.
Yeah.
But, you got to hear him speak. So we have a talk that he gave about a speech about making good trouble, and it's about 5 minutes long. So let's hear that speech, and then we'll have some more comments after that.
As a little child, I tasted the bitter fruits of racism, and I didn't like it. I didn't like seeing those signs. I didn't like when I went to the theater. All of us little black children had to go upstairs to the balcony, and all the little white children went downstairs to the first floor. I would come home and ask my mother, my father, my grandparents, my great-grandparents, why? They would say, that's the way it is. Don't get in the way, don't get in trouble. But one day in 1955, 15 years old in the 10th grade, I heard about Rosa Parks. I heard the words of Martin Luther King Jr. on old radio. The action of Rosa Parks, the words and leadership of Martin Luther King Jr. inspired me to find a way to get in the way. And I got in trouble, good trouble, necessary trouble. As a student in college, we studied the way of peace, the way of love, the way of nonviolence. We studied what Gandhi attempted to do in South Africa, what he accomplished in India. We studied Thoreau and civil disobedience. We studied the great religions of the world. And Andrew Aydin will tell you in book 1, March book 1, we start sitting in, black and white college students, black and white high school students. We sitting there in an orderly, peaceful, nonviolent fashion, waiting to be served. And someone would come up and spit on us. They'll put a lighted cigarette out in our hair or down our backs, pour hot water, hot coffee, or hot chocolate on us, pull us off the lunch counter stools. We were orderly, peaceful. Many of us accepted nonviolence as a way of life, as a way of living. But we were charged with disorderly conduct, disturbing the peace. We got arrested. I went to jail the first time on February 27, 1960. Between 1960 and 1966, I was arrested and jailed 40 times for sitting in, for going on a freedom ride, marching for the right to vote, beaten at a Greyhound bus station in South Carolina, beaten at the Greyhound bus station in Montgomery, Alabama, and left bloody and unconscious, beaten, having a concussion on that bridge in Selma, Alabama on March 7, 1965, a day that became known as Bloody Sunday. But I never became bitter or hostile, never gave up. I never gave in. I kept the faith, and during all these many years, I've tried to keep my eyes on the prize. March, book 1. Tell a story of a group of people who stood up together, rested together, beaten together, and jailed together. Some of my friends didn't make it. They died. Today, this year, we celebrated, just a few weeks ago, the 50th anniversary of the March on Washington. Back in 1963, August 28, 1963, I was the youngest speaker to March on Washington. And out of the 10 people that spoke that day, I'm the only one still around. So as we write book 2 and book 3, we will tell the whole story, the complete story of a people, of a struggle to make America different, to make America better, and create what we call one people, one family, one house. Because in America, we all live in the same house, the American house. And it doesn't matter whether we are black or white, Latino or Asian American or Native American. On this little planet, this little spaceship that we call Earth, we must learn to live together, as Dr. King would say, or we will perish as fools. Can I give up? Can I give in? Can I become bitter or hostile? We have to march on with hope, with faith, and with love.
Well, you know, I'm just going to read an email I got from Greylock Together. It's Greylock Together celebrates and dedicates this event to civil rights leader, legendary leader, and beloved politician John Lewis through image, speech, and performance on the 50th anniversary of his partnership, in partnership with the Williamstown Theater Festival. On their opening weekend, there'll be a Projecting Democracy is a video project that will take place, rain or shine. It'll be down at the First Congregational Church. It'll start after, you know, I think it's going to go on from 8:30 continuously till 10:30 p.m.
8:30 in the morning?
No, 8:30 in the evening till 8:30 p.m. to
Till
10:30 p.m. And you'll be able to go and see this. There are other things happening in Pittsfield, West Stockbridge, Great Barrington, Bennington. It's a nationwide movement to across America. We're facing a brazen attack by the Trump administration on our civil rights and human rights. Good trouble lives on, and that's what we're trying to do, is use his anniversary of his passing. It's the 5th anniversary. I got to correct my misstatement earlier. But to bring out good trouble. Nonviolence. As you heard him say, they studied all the great religions and nonviolence. And it's something that, you know, you have to dedicate a part of your life to understand it. It's a way of life. He dedicated his entire life for it, and we're going to try to carry that on. We have, you know, groups that are working, you know, on immigrant rights. We have brochures on how to be a bystander with ICE. We'll try to make those things available. You know, but I just hope
Because
that,
remember, as they tremble on one group's rights, they're trembling on everybody's rights.
I heard a report on Democracy Now! And their new concentration camp that they opened up in Florida. They call it the Alligator Alcatraz or something like that.
Correct.
They think it's funny. They just have tents and cages, and I don't know how many, 15, 20 people per cage. A toilet, and you get the water out of the water that
comes into the toilet.
That's just up above the toilet. It's unhealthy conditions. One of the congressmen went in there and he heard someone yell. They wouldn't let him go all the way in and talk to the people, and he heard someone yell, "I am an American citizen." You know, it's indiscriminate. That's their point. Right.
They're not trying to cull or figure out who's illegal and who's legal in this country, and it's actually targeting again. And I believe a judge, at least in the Los Angeles area, has ordered that ICE has to go a little bit further and can't just target somebody because they look Hispanic or sound Hispanic.
Los Angeles just came out against it, but it's.
But because of the lovely Supreme Court ruling, he can't do a nationwide injunction, which is what he probably would have done otherwise, being a federal judge.
There'll be class action lawsuits, and this will come up. But
yeah,
you know, we have a little bit of time left, and I thought, you know, would show the words that John Lewis spoke at that on the March on Washington in March. I believe it was 1963 or 64. I'm not sure, but let's hear what he had to say at that March on Washington.
I have the pleasure to present to this great audience young John Lewis, National Chairman, Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, Brother John Lewis.
We march today for jobs and freedom, but we have nothing to be proud of. For hundreds and thousands of our brothers are not here, for they're receiving starvation wages or no wages at all. While we stand here, there are sharecroppers in the Delta of Mississippi who are out in the field working for less than $3 a day, 12 hours a day. While we stand here, there are students in jail on trumped-up charges. Our brother James Farmer, along with many others, is also in jail. We come here today with a great sense of misgiving. It is true that we support the administration's civil rights bill. We support it with great reservation, however. Unless Title III is put in this bill, there's nothing to protect the young children and old women who must face police dogs and fire hoses in the South while they engage in peaceful demonstration. In its present form, this bill will not protect the citizen of Danville, Virginia, who must live in constant fear of a police state. It will not protect the hundreds and thousands of people who have been arrested upon Trump charges. What about the 3 young men, Snickfield Secretary in Americus, Georgia, who faced the death penalty for engaging in peaceful protest? As it stands now, the voting section of this bill will not help the thousands of black people who want to vote. It will not help the citizens of Mississippi, of Alabama, and Georgia who are qualified to vote but lack a 6th grade education. One man, one vote is the African cry. It is ours too. It must be ours. We must have legislation that will protect the Mississippi sharecropper who was put off of his farm because he dared to register to vote. We need a bill that will provide for the homeless and starving people of this nation. We need a bill that will ensure the equality of a maid who earns $5 a week in the home of a family whose total income is $100,000 a year. We must have a good FEPC bill. My friends, let us not forget that we are involved in a serious social revolution. By and large, American politics is dominated by politicians who build their career on immoral compromise and allow themselves an open form of political, economic, and social exploitation. There are exceptions, of course. We salute those. But what political leader can stand up and say, my party is a party of principles? For the party of Kennedy is also the party of Eastland. The party of Jarvis is also the party of Goldwater. Where is our party? Where is the political party that will make it unnecessary to march on Washington? Where is the political party that will make it unnecessary to march in the streets of Birmingham? Where is the political party that will protect the citizens of Albany, Georgia? Do you know that in Albany, Georgia, 9 of our leaders have been indicted, not by the Dixiecrats, but by the federal government for peaceful protest? But what did the federal government do when Albany Deputy Sheriff beat Attorney C.B. King and left him half dead? What did the federal government do when local police officials kicked and assaulted the pregnant wife of Slater King and she lost her baby? Those who have said be patient and wait, we must say that we cannot be patient. We do not want our freedom gradually, but we want to be free now. We are tired. We are tired of being beaten by policemen. We're tired of seeing our people locked up in jail over and over again. And then you holler, be patient. How long can we be patient? We want our freedom and we want it now. We do not want to go to jail, but we will go to jail if this is the price we must pay for love, brotherhood, and true peace. I appeal to all of you to get in this great revolution that is sweeping this nation. Get in and stay in the streets of every city, every village and hamlet of this nation until true freedom comes, until the revolution of 1776 is complete. We must get in this revolution and complete the revolution. For in the Delta of Mississippi, in Southwest Georgia, in the Black Belt of Alabama, in Harlem, in Chicago, Detroit, Philadelphia, and all over this nation, the black masses are on the march for joy and freedom. talking about slow down and stop. We will not stop. All of the forces of Eastland, Barnett, Wallace, and Thurman will not stop this revolution. If we do not get meaningful legislation out of this Congress, the time will come when we will not confine our marching to Washington. We will march through the South, through the streets of Jackson, through the streets of Danville, through the streets of Cambridge, through the streets of Birmingham. But we will march with the spirit of love and with the spirit of dignity that we have shown here today. By the forces of our demand, our determination, and our numbers, we shall splinter the segregated South into 1,000 pieces and put them together in the image of God and democracy. We must say, wake up, America, wake up, for we cannot stop, and we will not and cannot be patient.
It's quite a moving speech.
Yeah. You can see the seeds of the beginning of the greatness that John Lewis is going to have at that time, you know.
He had a lot of pressure on him giving that speech. They did not want him to speak. They did not want him to say certain things. You notice he had people right behind him, you know, at every step of the way, because they were worried what he was going to say, you know. They didn't.
Well, yeah, he was young and he was thought of as a firebrand at that time. They didn't realize he understood what was going on.
To follow through on his leadership, because we still have this battle in the cities. You know, we have the Trump administration with ICE, and these people are trying to attack.
Yep, it's no different than what was going on then.
Right.
It's
So
actually a move to go backwards.
And we're going to be under attack here in Massachusetts because, you know, they see anybody that disagrees with them as not them. Not them. So, you know, I can ask us, us as a group, but also you as a listener, to contact our state representative, John Barrett, and ask him to support House Bill HD 4886, which seeks to prevent ICE agents from wearing masks, and in most cases, when arresting and detaining folks in Massachusetts, which is only one small step of the many egregious offenses that are being committed within our community. But
and it's one small step. You have to say, if you're so proud of what you're doing, you don't need to cover your face. Right. You don't need to.
Right. We need power to the people. We need people to have freedom.
We need people to have courage.
And we need to step up nonviolently and fight for the rights of all human beings in this country.
And now we're going to say,
power to the people.
Thank you.
Let's not make sure you're awake out there.
Spikes of the bosses we must pay for. From the cities and the farmlands to trenches full of mud. War's always been the bosses' way, sir. The Union forever defending our rights. Down with the black leather workers unite. With our brothers and our sisters in many far-off lands. There is power in our union. Now I long for the morning that they realise brutality and unjust laws cannot defeat us. But who'll defend the workers who cannot organise? And the bosses send their lackeys out to cheat.